This is the FM Gold channel of All India Radio. In the program News Analysis, now we bring you a discussion on National Strategy for Malnutrition-Free India. The participants are Dr. Arun Pandey of All India Institute of Medical Sciences and Aarti Dhar, journalist.
NITI Aayog has come out with a national strategy to prevent malnutrition. The basis of this is that every third child in the country is undernourished, which leads to several diseases, child deaths and maternal mortality. Dr. Arun Pandey, Kuposhan Mukt Bharat is a slogan which has been given by the Prime Minister, and we have to make India malnutrition free by 2030. The strategy paper which has been brought out by the NITI Aayog has a targeted approach and which has to be monitorable and aims at reduction in the percentage of underweight below 5 from 35.7 at present to 20.7 by 2022, and reduction in prevalence of anemia among children aged 6 to 59 months from the current 58.4% to 19.5% again by 2022, and reduction in anemia among women aged 15 years to 49 years from 53.1 to 17.7%. Dr. Pandey, I want to know from you, how achievable is this target?
The target set by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a very good target, but still we are lacking from world standard. As we are talking about the decrease of mortality rate, decrease of anemia rate, so we have to have a very solid implementation and planning for the achievement of these all goals into 2022. Like malnutrition child death, we can prevent it, that mortality, as soon as possible. Like when a woman is pregnant, before the pregnancy, we can start a follow-up counseling of that woman, how to conceive and what the nutrition she should take at the time of conceive. We can start a folic acid supplementation and iron supplementation before the conceive of that lady. So we can easily prevent the baby of her. Simply we can supplement the folic acid and iron to that lady before the 3 months of conceiving. So will lead to a very healthy baby with the ideal weight and ideal all situation. So we have to start all strategy before the conceive of the lady.
We already have several programs under ICDS, which is basically food supplementation, and even for children we have Anganwadi centers. But even then, all these years we have not been able to overcome malnutrition. So what do you think government needs to do differently under the strategy so that we overcome this?
In India, the malnutrition is basically protein deficiency malnutrition is there. It's a very surprising. We can see the below poverty countries like Uganda, Colombia, all those are eradicating their disease of malnutrition. But why can't we? As a doctor, I can see and I can say that if we implement a very good strategy and a trained doctor, like a medical field, we have a social and preventive medicine. So, besides appointed doctor in PSC, Primary Health Center, why should we not appoint a social and preventive medicine doctor? Because he is well trained, he is having their qualification of social and preventive medicine for 3 years. So, he or she can be a very good counselor too. So, we can prevent the malnutrition at PSC level too. Anganwadi programs are very nice, but there is a lack of coordination of Anganwadi and all PSC and all the doctors. So, in my view, it is a very good idea to implement a doctor which is MD in social and preventive medicine at the PSC level. So he will be able to counsel the patient, he will be able to teach the community how to prevent a disease, because the slogan is very famous, to prevention is better than cure. So we have to go for the prevention, not for the cure.
But do we have enough doctors and human resource to do this?
Of course we have. There is no ideal condition for which, like WHO recommended that there is a lacking of doctors, but we can have a step. We can go forward with this thing and we can appoint a doctor.
Okay, this new strategy is based on 4 pillars. One is improving health services, food, drinking water and sanitation, income and livelihood. So in the context of sanitation, how can we link sanitation and health of a child?
Sanitation is a very important pillar of the health sector. We can prevent all the vector-borne disease like Japanese encephalitis, which are very epidemic in the Gorakhpur area. We have just seen the incident of that kind of. So all the vector-borne disease can be prevented due to the proper sanitation. I don't think so that sanitation is a big problem. It's a behavior changes. If you go for the behavior change of the community, sanitation problem is almost deleted. As if you train a community or if you train your people to how to use food, how to cook your food, how to wash your hand. So it will become very easy to prevent any kind of diseases. Like 50% of the diseases can be prevented due to only a safe hand wash. So if we train all the people for the safe hand wash, so we can prevent all the airborne disease, all the vector-borne disease due to the safe hand practice.
So considering these child deaths, you said Gorakhpur, similarly Rajasthan, Jharkhand and Madhya Pradesh, how important is the role of a healthy baby in preventing such deaths?
A healthy body have a healthy mind, and if the baby is healthy, his or her immunity system will be strong. So if a baby is nutrition fulfilled, then she or he will be very comfortable with his immunity to fight with a disease. India is a protein malnourished country. Every third child is malnutrition here. I can give an example of Balaghat, because Balaghat is a very malnourished area. You can go and see there are two diseases like Kwashiorkor and marasmus are there. So the behavior of that community is so that child are healthy, child are looking fatty. So if the child is looking fatty and dull, that means it's a disease. And all those diseases are protein related diseases. That means they are having deficiency of protein in their diet. So we can taught them, we can teach them, or we can counsel them to how to increase the protein diet basically in their food. Like we can improve that to take pulses, to take soybean type grains. So if we counsel them properly, if you change the behavior of that community, we can almost eradicate the malnutrition which is prevailing in India.
The impression one gets after reading this report is that the focus has been more on teenage girls and women. So how relevant is this?
The whole human cycle is wandering around the human and women also. So if we have a focus on the woman health, because woman is a mother of any baby. So if you focus on the health of that woman, so her child is also healthy. If we focus on the mother health, automatically that kind of move will see in his or her child. If a healthy mother is there, so she is going to deliver a healthy baby. And like adolescent girl, in our country or in our society, we are more focusing towards the male child. So that's why I think Niti Aayog is just focusing on all the motto on the women health and adolescent girls.
So you seem to suggest that it's a life cycle approach they want to adopt for a healthy woman and a healthy
of course.
child.
If the woman is healthy, then she is going to deliver a healthy child. That's the motto of the Niti Aayog.
How does one reach the last man? You know, we have policies on food, we have food security policy, we have drinking water, there's a huge Swachh Bharat campaign going on. But even then there are people who are being left out. Same is the case with nutrition. How does one reach out to that person? Like you just gave the example of Balaghat. There are similar areas like Naxal areas, Balaghat being one of them. So how does one reach out to those people?
Every plan you have to have some approach. Like you have to make a law. If you want to implement a service, then you can go by any way, like public-private participation, like making a law, like a service. If you Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, in the first phase it was failed because you just make the toilet and doesn't teach people how to use the toilet. The same way implying on the Balaghat area and that kind of area. Because if you spread the message, you have to teach them also. It's not a matter of spreading the program. It's a matter of teaching the program. And it is a matter of service of that program. How to avail that service. If you go for the remote area, they know something is going on in India. But on that part, the last people are not any information about that program. So you have to implement, plan and do a service for that people. So this kind of program should be taught, not for the spreading. It should be a counsel type.
So you seem to be suggesting that what we lack is not information but communication. We've not been able to connect with the people or communicate with them.
In the remote area, we have to go for that remote area because in person if they illiterate, how can you teach them? By spreading the program only. You have to go and show them because if a person is illiterate, you can't taught them by the play of holding up, by the skitting. You have to go with that community level. So service part is more important than the communication. Communication is also, it's a very good part, but the service is more important. If you are giving the service with communication, it will 100% give a very good result for all the people.
There's a lot of discrimination against women and particularly girl child in the country. And often we have seen it comes down to the level of food also. When it comes to eating, girls are given less and boys are given preference.
in some part of the community.
So, do you think that also has a role to play in undernourished?
India is a protein deficiency malnourished country. Protein deficiency is a very rare deficiency in all over world except the India, because protein is a very cheap source. We can get a protein diet like pulses, so we can easily get a pulse. But I had considered for the sex discrimination. Of course, there is a discrimination in our country. We are more care about the male child instead of girl child. So I think the focus should be given to the female child, with that all the nutrition part like protein deficiency or anything deficiency. Even the vaccination part is also a very important factor for the woman or female child. So vaccination, nutrition and proper services is very important for all those factors we are talking about. If you have a proper nutrition, if you have a proper vaccination, if you have a proper service of last body, then all the target of Niti Aayog are achievable.
Probably that is why they have kept all these 4 major pillars on which this strategy is based. So you seem to suggest that these are achievable.
These are achievable, but in the Niti Aayog they are talking about the uptake of health services. One important factor is that if we implement a doctor, if we appoint a doctor like a preventive social medicine with the MD in that particular subject, then it will be, I think, upgradation of health service. And of course, if a doctor is there and with a proper support and proper all the facility, that doctor will definitely give the result of all those things like decrease of anemia, malnutrition, rate decrease. It will be achievable. And
as you said, there needs to be human resource, infrastructure. But as we know the condition of our hospitals, and as we have seen lately, so doesn't it seem a little harsh? Of
course, it's a little harsh to say that, in India like country, we are lacking with resources and all the human power. But I think India is a very, very growing country, and we are in growing economy. So why we are expanding our infrastructure, we are expanding our economic sector, why can't we are not expanding our health sector? We can upgrade our health service, and of course the main target for any organization should be the health first. If the country people are healthy, that means they will think healthy and they will contribute to the development of the nation. So my opinion is that if we can give a very good health services to all the people, all those things are achievable.
So when it comes to food, as you just said, India is a protein deficient country. So what are the things that people should eat or children should eat to increase their protein component in the body?
Up to birth to 6 months, no child should be given outside food except the mother. It's true. And in many societies, baby is taking outside food. It's a very pathetic situation, because if the educated person is doing that kind of thing, then how can you suspect a poor person can do that? It's again a type of behavior changes we can talk about. More than 6 month age, you can give baby to protein rich diet, like you can mash it pulses. Any pulses are very rich in the protein source. If you have a soybean is a very rich in the proteins. You can also give child or your adolescent girl to the green vegetables. And I just want to add, there is also vitamin D3 deficiency is also prevail. And it's a very cheapest source, like sunlight is rich in the vitamin D3. In our society, vitamin D3 deficiency is also prevailed, very large in the community. And I think only 1.5 an hour early morning sunlight is enough to generate a vitamin D3 in your body. So it's an awareness thing. Almost 30 to 45% person in the country is deficient in vitamin D3. 1.5 an hour sunlight early morning is enough for vitamin D3 deficiency.
So it's necessarily not the amount of food you eat, but the kind of food you eat, which is important.
Which is important.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on National Strategy for Malnutrition Free India. The participants were Dr. Arun Pandey of All India Institute of Medical Sciences and Aarti Dhar, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. This program is also available on our website, news on air.nic.in. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.